This is a progression of the back anchor progression. And this actually has an extra special benefit, which is it's another way to actively stretch your hip flexors, which active stretching is very important because it has a longer effect than passive stretching does. So it lasts a lot longer. And it also stretches the hip flexors in a way that is very safe for your spine because your spine is supported during the stretch. And that's important because the hip flexors attach directly to the lumbar spine. And most hip flexor stretches actually pull on the lumbar spine when you stretch them, and it can actually cause some wear and tear and friction in there if your spine is not supported. So let's get right into the stretch. You're going to get down on the floor and you're basically get in the bridge position. Relax into the floor, feel your back anchor, connect it to the floor using your abdominals. You're going to push away, elevate the pelvis from pushing away from the back anchor, and my pelvis is up off the ground. We're going to maintain your pelvis off the ground throughout this entire exercise. So you can imagine we'll just start off with the back anchor marching. So I like to check that my abdominals are engaged, pushing away from my back anchor, and just marching my feet. And so this is where the progression comes in. I started extending my leg and dropping it down, but my pelvis is still off the ground here. And so my hip is able to get into a little bit of extension and then back up. And I never lose connection that entire time. And so I'll do it with the other leg, drop it down, and I can just feel a little stretch in my hip flexors as I bring my leg down into extension, and my core connection from my back anchor is protecting my spine. My abdominals are fully engaged. The back of my rib cage is on the floor, and my abdominals are kind of pulling my pelvis up off the floor. So I'm kind of in a half bridge position, and I'm gonna bring my one leg up, and I'm gonna stay engaged here. I'm gonna drop my leg down, touch the floor with my heel. And so what that does is it's bringing my hip on the side that I'm dropping down into a little bit of extension. You can see that this hip goes into a little bit of extension, and it brings a little stretch into the hip flexor muscles. And the reason that it's an active stretch is because the hip flexor is actually working. It's actively participating in the movement. The hip flexor is the muscle that's actually dropping the leg down. It's in control. And so I'm actively lengthening the muscle while using it, and that's what makes it an active stretch. That's what makes it last really long, because we're training the muscle while stretching it. And so I just do this kind of repeatedly, or you can hold it, but I prefer to turn this into more of a dynamic movement. And remember, the number one top priority is my abdominals stay engaged. And that's what protects your lumbar spine, and having yourself in the bridge also engages the glutes a little bit, which is also protecting the lumbar spine, keeping that pelvis in a little bit of a posterior tilt. So make sure you stay engaged here, and as you drop your leg down, just stay in control and feel a little bit of that stretch. And my abdominals have been working this entire time to keep my back anchor pushing into the ground. I feel an abdominal workout. I feel my hip flexors have been nicely lengthened and stretched in a healthy way. And you should feel really good after you come out of it. So you feel like my lower back is released a little bit. Feel like my hip flexors are released. Get up and walk around a little bit, and you'll notice the difference.